I'm busy, always, and she asked me to come over and support this because I'm on the educational team of the Black Chamber. I didn't know I was doing this, but I'll do what I'm asked to do. So we were going to get started. What is HairStory? HairStory is a historical and anecdotal exploration of Black Americans' tangled hair roots, a chronological look at the culture and the politics behind the ever-changing state of Black hair, from 15th century Africa to the present day United States. It ties the personal to the political and the popular. And first, we will introduce and thank Mr. Keith Robinson. There you go. Oh, there he is. He is the coordinator of the library. Hello.
Hello. Thanks everybody for coming. So we're super glad everybody could come out today. We're very excited for this event. We're going to have some really cool stuff here this evening. We're glad to share it with you. I want to invite everybody, come to the library as often as you can, even if you don't have a library card. There's all kinds of cool stuff going on all the time. We like to do book clubs and crafts and stuff for kids, and there's all kinds of stuff constantly, so keep an eye out for that. Is anybody here not from Marion? Okay, cool. So if you have library cards from other libraries, you can use those here in Marion too, if it's easier to get here. So keep that in mind. But yeah, everybody's always welcome. We always love to see everybody come in. But again, thank you guys for coming. We're going to have some cool stuff coming on just tonight. And again, thanks.
Okay, now we will introduce Miz BJ. She is part of Connect 360, Black Chamber, Carmen United, etc., etc., etc. She has her own business. She is a busy woman. She's always doing things in the community. She's always helping out. She had a marvelous party last year for her birthday. And so this is Miz BJ. Welcome her.
Good evening, everybody. As you all know, I'm Miz BJ. I have the first black-owned beauty supply store in Marion.
Yes, you do,
County.
girl.
And I want to thank each and every one of y'all continually support me, because your support is what helps keep my doors open. And I really do appreciate everyone's support. And I'm really excited about putting on tonight's event, and we're going to continue this event yearly. So continue to look forward to the HairStory every year. And thank you all for coming out, and y'all enjoy the presentation.
Next, we will have Miss Jerry X. Young. She is the owner of Blue Deals Gift Shop. She's an author. She's a cook. She's a playwright. She has had some amazing plays. I haven't made it to one yet, but I'm coming. She's a singer and a motivational speaker, so she is multi-verse. So please welcome Jerry X. Young.
Hello everyone, how are y'all? Good, good. I'm glad to be here, and I'm glad to see all your beautiful faces. This is so good that Miz BJ is putting this on, because she, like she said, has the first black-owned hair store in Marion, and this is Black History Month, and we are doing the HairStory, okay? So Miss Tangela gave you guys some background on what the HairStory is. I am going to give a brief presentation. It's about 20 minutes long, and I'm going to keep it exciting. Y'all know I do plays, yes. So I'm active here. So this is a beautiful, true story about African American hair industry. Hairstyles have become a standard of beauty amongst the entire world. African American women are viewed across the country for her dynamic, different, and unique looks. She has set the trend here in America. Now, women of all races find themselves enjoying the Afrocentric looks that Black women continue to create. Throughout this presentation, we will experience some positive and some negative effects that the Black women's hair story has had on her entire life. Imagine your hair telling the story of who you are, what you do, and etc. So today, we are going to make things easy I'm going to give you the ease. That's my story. My presentation is the ease of hair. And we know that when it comes to hair, things can be hard. Whether it's the time of the styles, the burning, cancer-causing chemicals, to the acceptance on jobs from embracing her natural beauty. Y'all agree with that?
Yes, ma'am.
All right. Gotta get a little deep because I'm deep. All right, the ease. So we're going to start with the first E is enlightenment of our history, brings understanding of African American hair. So let's go back to our roots. Go back. Leave it there for us. Okay. The story of multifaceted black hair is one of slavery, tears, self-hatred, rebellion, and finally, self-love. Apart from beauty, African hair was part of someone's identity. From your hair, people could tell which tribe you came from, your social status, royal, soldier, or peasant, religion, class, and even fertility. Wow. Africans had a hairstyle for just about any occasion. African women shaved their heads as they mourned the loss of a loved one. Did y'all know that? Me either, but boy, this is interesting. Ain't that something? African kings had fancy hairstyles, and warriors often braided their hair as they went to war. Life was good, and Africans were able to manage and maintain their hair using natural hair products made from herbs found in their environment. What were some, this is questions for y'all, what were some of these natural herbs? Y'all know?
Aloe vera.
Shea butter.
I know it's some coconut oil in there somewhere.
Yeah. Are they used today?
Yes.
Okay, so that it said for them life was good then with their natural products and their hair. It seemed to be some ease. So today we have become somewhat stressed out about hair. Can knowing our hair story bring us some ease?
Yes.
I say yes too. Okay, so here's an example of one of the products. An example of a native hair care product is Shabi powder, Shea powder, S-H-E-B-E. Shavy powder, Shavy powder. This unique product boosts hair growth. Evidence is seen in the Basara woman of Shad. Did I say it right? Okay, with their beautiful long hair. Its ingredients include lavender cotton, cherry kernels, mastic gum, clove, and perfumes. Africans even believe their hair helped them to communicate with their gods. Africans were proud of their natural hair until the transatlantic slave trade hit hard between the 16th and the 20th centuries. 16th and 20th century, ain't that something? They were proud and, So, the transatlantic slave trade saw the forceful migration of millions of Africans into America where they labored as slaves. You can just imagine the culture shock these Africans must have gone through. Their slave masters treated them badly and even referred to their African hair as wool to dehumanize them. After so many years of seeing their hair as beautiful and sacred, their hair was sacred to them. Wow. Africans now saw their hair as a burden. Their natural hair made them feel inferior to Western society. Even Human slave traders placed more value on light-skinned Africans with soft hair who felt that the darker you were and the kinkier your hair, the less attractive you were. African slaves no longer had access to their natural herbs, butters, and oils to take care of their hair. So guess what they resorted to, y'all? Can somebody guess one thing?
Relaxers.
Not yet. They didn't even have relaxers at this time. They ain't had it either. No, way before that. Let me just get y'all that. It was before that time. This is horrible. They resorted to bacon grease, butter, kerosene as their moisturizers, conditioners, and shampoos. I mean, something about kerosene did something. I just funny how they made the relaxers. Oh goodness. Y'all gonna say, that lady better shut up there with that headpiece on talking about our relaxers. I'm sorry. So why do you think they use such drastic things? Why do you think? Was it to style their hair naturally? Or was it because they had begun to dislike their natural beauty? Since they were dehumanized in so many ways. Yeah, you think about it. If I done resorted to kerosene, I mean, I know we were using some products that kind of, but you know, you've been dehumanized, and it's like you no longer feel like, oh God, let me try to kerosene and burn it down.
So kerosene back then was not as liquefied, as inflammatory as it is now.
Okay.
Back then it was more so when it got cold, it went to like a grease form.
Oh.
So they were able to use it.
Look at that. That's some education there. Wow. Okay. So they could get on fire. Okay. Fortunately, the slave trade was abolished in the U.S. in 1865. African Americans were now free to lead their lives. However, an end to the slave trade did not stop racism. So African Americans were made to feel bad and inferior because of their skin color and hair. Slowly, it worked. And many African Americans saw the white man's hair to be a better, more refined. They now started looking for hair care routines and products that would straighten their hair. So this is when we start straightening our hair, okay? It's very important to know this history, you know? Yeah, okay. This era saw the rise of many African American entrepreneurs like Madam C.J. Walker, who came up with numerous hair care products. Her first and most famous hair care product was Madam Walker's Wonderful Hair Grower and Shampoo. She did not invent the pressing comb. A lot of people try to put her down. I mean, she's just trying to straighten hair too. She did. She invented a natural hair care product. It was natural and purely plant-based. Its ingredients were maramuru. You know how to say that? You smart. Maramuru.
I can't pronounce it.
Okay. Muru. It's Murumuru. Murumuru. Shea, Jamaica black castor, and coconut oils. So that is what Madam C.J. Walker's plant-based. Y'all go mix some of that up and make it rich. She takes criticism for inventing the pressing comb, which was to straighten, but she in fact did not invent it. I told y'all that already. It was a European invention. Seems to me that she was trying to get back to the roots and some ease by getting more natural, is what Madam C.J. Walker did. So give it up for her. Now we're going to move on to the next E, which is enhance. Okay, how does everyone feel? Y'all feel all right? Did you learn something? You feel enlightened? I am. Okay. Let's move on. Enhancing her look. Black women have been beauty queens for for as far back as history takes us. She is well known for rocking beautiful braids and cornrows from ancient times to the present. And I imagine they will go on and on for infinity. Can y'all imagine braids going anywhere? Them suckers here to stay, ain't they? They easy, yeah, and they pretty. Okay. This style, which can enhance her hair density, length, and color, y'all got in your bags, by adding synthetic and human fibers of hair, has greatly helped the hair industry. Right, BJ? Let's take a look at this creative hairstyle. Cornrows, sometimes called cane rows, are a traditional style of braids in which the hair is braided very close to the scalp using an underhand upward motion to make a continuous raised row. Cornrows are often done in simple, straight lines, as the term implies, but they can also be styled in elaborate, geometric, or curvilinear designs. Them bad, ain't they? Depictions of women with cornrows have been found in Stone Age paintings in the Tassil Plateau of the Sahara and have been dated as far back as, guess when? 3000 BC, come on. As well as the cornrow style is seen in depictions of ancient Cushitic people of the Horn of Africa wearing the style of braids as far back as 2000 BC. It was a traditional hairstyle of Roman Vestal virgins. Ain't that something? Traditional Roman? Okay. Cornrows have made a comeback in the United States in the 1960s and 1970s and returned again during the 1990s and 2000s. In the 2000s, some athletes wore cornrows, including NBA basketball players like who? Yeah. Give her a prize, BJ. Allen Iverson, that's number one. Anybody know anybody else? Rasheed Wallace. And then there's one last one. Latrell Sprewell. Allen Iverson was everybody got him. Many female mixed martial artists who have more than jaw-length hair choose to wear cornrows for their fights, as it prevents their hair from obscuring their vision as they move. Hair braiding has a long history of innovation and adaptation in America. Because of this, it is crucial that people understand that cornrows are not a pop culture fad, and that they realize how deep the roots of hair braiding are in the black community. Black hair has been taunted, scorned, discriminated against, and policed since colonizers arrived in Africa. Furthermore, black hair represents a sense of strength and a symbol of creativity. Ain't that good? Yes. Recognize. In ancient times, braid patterns and hairstyles were indications of one's wealth, marital status, ethnicity, age, and religion. These unique styles were a way to set tribes apart from each other and was an integral part of their language system. Around the year 1619, when Africans was forced into slave ships, many colonists shaved African women's hair, dehumanizing them by stripping their sense of pride and identity. The theft of these customs from one continent evolved into new cultural traditions on another. They even created laws to prohibit black women from wearing braids in public, so they had to conceal their hair and make it known that they were slaves by wearing headscarves. Cornrows were a sign of resistance for slaves because they used it as mats to escape from slavery, and they would hide rice or seeds into their braids on their way to enslavement. In an effort to reject the Eurocentric beauty standard, America experienced its first natural hair movement in the 60s and 70s, the Black Power movement. This allowed black people to model picked out afros as well as cornrows. All right, so how did y'all like that, the enhancement of the cornrows? I think we're gonna see some cornrows later. Our beautiful beautician over here. There is no doubt, okay, so Let's talk about the evolution of black hair and show the timeline. Now, the evolution of black hair shows the timeline of different hairstyles that were also used to enhance the black woman's look. As she evolves in the Western civilization, so does her look. So let's look at the evolvement. There is no doubt that the fascination with African American hair extends far beyond the melanated people, from the interest in our daily maintenance to the political narrative that comes along with it. Black hair care has served as a catalyst for radical change in the U.S. So let's take a stroll down memory lane to see how much hair trends have changed over time for women of color and how they have affected our society. We just might find that we've come to a full circle. So we're going to start with the 1600s. Here we find the first confrontation with European beauty standard for blacks. The 1600s, it looks like a, go back. Keep going, keep going. So I'll just start, let's just start there, we'll start there. That's close. The 1600s, it really shows a woman, her hair looked almost like Harriet Tubman's, where she kind of parted it down the middle. It says, here we find the first confrontation with European beauty standards for blacks. Slaves would either try to assimilate to the European style of beauty, or they would continue to embrace their African cultural standards of beauty through braiding their hair or using herbs for their skin. Oftentimes, slaves would work as beauticians or barbers for their master and their master's family. Then we will go to the 1800s. French invented the metal hot comb, and it became readily available in the U.S. It is used to temporarily straighten curly hair. We can just keep going. Some people mistakenly, that's close to it, believe that Madam C.J. Walker's history first female self-made millionaire was the one who invented the hot comb. Talked about that earlier. Believe it or not, the Europeans were the first to use this device in order to look similar to the ancient Egyptians. So what do you think they was doing with the pressing comb if you had straight hair and you wanted to look like the ancient Egyptians? What would you have been doing? Burning it. Isn't that pretty neat to know? You know, I think so. So kind of like, what is something, so you look pretty young, so you may not know, and you do too, your mother. I'm gonna just ask, what is something that is done? I'm an ex-hairdresser at JCPenney's for years, so I did this a lot. What is something that is done to Caucasian hair at the beauty salons to make it last?
You mean
The
like a
style.
perm?
No, not the perm, styling, when you're styling it.
Hairspray?
Teasing it. So I imagine that you know what I mean, that pressing comb, and when you tease that hair, make it out, that's probably what it look like. Because you can tease hair, you can tease fine hair and make it almost look like an afro, right? So that's, them, they may not didn't know, they probably was teasing it with the pressing. They was probably teasing it with the pressing comb. Okay, we got it. That's our hypothesis, right? Okay, 1900s, the era of natural hair care pioneer, Madam C.J. Walker, although she was responsible for establishing the first beauty product line of African American women, okay, I already said that, but the 1900s is Madam C.J. Walker. 1920s, Marcus Garvey, a nationalist, black nationalist. Marcus Garvey encourages African Americans to wear their natural hair. Garvey was a Jamaican political leader who founded the Universal Negro Improvement Association and African Communities League. After his death, a speech by Martin Luther King declared that Garvey was the first man of color to lead and develop a mass movement. He was the first man on a mass scale and level to give millions of Negroes a sense of dignity and destiny. Isn't that something? He's like, put them perms down. And they was. It's just something to know this cycle of what we're going through, right? Put them down. 1954, the Johnson Product Company launches a brand new at-home permanent hair straightener for men. Men were straightening their hair. Yeah, they was wearing them finger waves straight. You remember that? Yeah. So they made it for the men. Woo, them men, shame on them men. Okay. The Ultra Wave hair culture hair product was first for men. And the women version, Ultra Sheen, would soon follow. It would also surpass the sales of the Ultra Wave hair culture. The women ate that thing up. Let's just go on with this. We all getting straight hair. Johnson Product Company, because the first African American owned corporation listed, became the first African American owned corporation listed on the American Stock Exchange. Started booming, right? We're talking about the sister made that black hair industry. Go, boom. 1963. On the television drama East Side, West Side, Cicely Tyson wears cornrows in response to the era's trend of straightened hair, even amongst African Americans. Tyson is quoted as saying, "I wasn't comfortable in the skin, in the character's skin with that style of hair because I knew they didn't wear their hair straightened in Africa." So she was playing a part, and she didn't want to wear her straight hair because she knew that wasn't natural. That wasn't who she was playing, Okay, 1970 to 77, Angela Davis wears a large afro and becomes an icon for the Black Power movement. Several years later, the curly perm, Jerry curl, hits the black hair scene and lasts well into the 1980s. If you ever wondered what the Jerry curl was referred to, look no further than the inventor, Jerry Redden, who was a hairdresser. So that's pretty neat that it was a hairdresser that invented the Jerry curl. I had one. Who had a Jerry curl? All right. You had to learn how to put that bag on and keep it wet at night. Drip it all down again. My daddy used to carry towels in the car because he had his Jerry curl was so good. He was like, ain't nobody's as good as mine, and had to put the towel on the back of the shoe, get that juice on it.
We all popped up in plastic bags.
Oh, gosh. All right, 1993. The best decade for black girl hairstyles, and that's not up for debate.
Right.
Look, she got it about hers just a little bit bigger, but she looked like Janet Jackson now, back there, making a cycle. The early 90s marked the period when traditional African hairstyles took on a modern update. One of the most iconic hairstyles of the early 90s were box braids, when Janet Jackson rocked them in poetic justice. It quickly became the go-to style for black girls. Whether they were being worn down or pulled up with accessories, this style was it. Now this style, box braids, we know, it doesn't matter what hair texture you have. Everybody can get box braids now, can't they? And everybody is getting them. So, 1997, cover, of Hair album by Baduzan. Yeah, but no, the name of the album, Baduizm. Singer Erykah Badu wears her hair in in an African headscarf, sparking the new era of neo-soul Afrocentrism. I think that's really important because they said earlier that slaves were made to put on some scarves so would nobody be able to see their hair cute from their braids or whatever, but they wasn't like their scarves that they wore on their hair, royalty scarves. And so I think that's really good to bring that back. Years later, Badu would make another statement on Black beauty when she became the face of Tom Ford's white patchouli fragrance in 2008. Badu has been dubbed the first lady of Neo Soul. 1999, all right. Locks sister, Locks. Lauryn Hill is one of People magazine's 50 most beautiful people. This can be seen as a turning point in Black history because up until this point, the standard of American beauty, especially in Hollywood, was fair skin and stringy hair. All right, let's keep it going. 2001. Whew. Nope, that ain't 2001, it's Lil' Kim. Okay, wait up. We left her off. Did you? Okay. Lil' Kim makes a different turn when she rocks a blonde. I used to wear these Lil' Kim styles, girl. When she rocks a blonde weave, while other entertainers like singers Macy Gray and India R.E. sport their neo-soul afros and African hair wraps. This is where the divide between chemical straightening women and natural women becomes more noticeable. Did y'all notice that happening? You know, you see, okay, she got this, she natural, you know, and it even starts kind of describing us again. Does that make sense? You kind of can tell if she worked certain places by her hair. I had a sister that talked to me. We were talking about natural stuff, and I wasn't even being like myself. I could be a little much. And she was like, Jerry, I only look like this with my long wig and like this because I wouldn't be able to get my job. Oh, I felt so horrible. I was like, I ain't saying nothing else. Like, literally tears. Right. You know, because I'm like, okay, I get you, sister. But that's what she said. And this is probably 2 months ago. So this is current. Yeah. 2006, African American hair care is a $1 billion industry. Yes, 2006. Yes, if it wasn't already clear to the observing public, it should be now. With that stat. Black people love doing their hair. Interesting to note, sales of relaxers, which make up about 18% of the market, were worth $131.8 million in 2014, dropped to a drop of 34% since 2009. So I guess 2009 it was higher, and by 2014 it was lower. It's back up. Even killing us? No, not the industry. Relaxer sales. No, the industry's still up. You know, relaxers going down and show that. 2012 to 2016, Black women around the globe are not only starting to embrace their roots, but they have taken over the internet video realm and have started developing hair care channels dedicated to styling and maintaining Black hair. Ironically, the drop in sales for hair relaxer coincides with the rise in natural hair YouTube channels. Coincidence? Woo, people just get on there, they're on there anyway. Let me put this in. How do I twist my hair to the left? Ain't that something? Yes. We need to put that in on YouTube. I'm a comedian, y'all. This brings us to the next E, which is equality. Yes, the black woman has roots and she rocks her ancestor styles well. They define her. So why does she have to be treated less than? Because of her natural beauty. After so many years of weaves and artificial hair care products, many African Americans are now going back to their natural hair. They're now looking for the hair care secrets that were lost when their ancestors were first taken into slavery. They searching. Go on, y'all. Back in the 1970s, Melba, what was her last name? I'm supposed to put Melba Tyler. That's her. Was the first African American anchor for a television news show, ABC News affiliate. However, she stood up for black culture and dared to show up for work with her natural hair. She even covered Tricia Nixon's wedding, daughter of the then U.S. President Richard Nixon, with her natural hair and without a headdress. Although her actions got her fired from ABC News, black men and women learned from her and were able to fight for the freedom of hairstyle in their workplaces. To this day, many women of color are discriminated by the texture of their hair and the braid styles they wear in corporate settings. Many even get fired for wearing braids or dreads. It is important for everyone to learn about the history of braids and to know that it is not just a cute style to wear. Braids are a protective hairstyle for many, and it holds a deep meaning to most. As a community, we must come together to alter these negative notions and respect the roots of braids. Braids are beautiful and they symbolize resistance, freedom, love, and power coming to fruition. Woo. If you are an individual that is interested in getting braided, it is pertinent that you know the struggles black women had to endure in America, as well as the culture that braids were built on. I urge everyone to embody the beauty of braids and shed light on those around you by eliminating the stigmatization that braids carry.